and Innovation Committee. Do we have any cards from the public? Minutes of the last meeting, and I think Councilwoman Stark and I were the last committee.
Yes. We were the standing too.
I want to ask a question before, is on the item for the scooters.
Yes.
It does say no cost to the city, but on the formal agenda today is the request for almost $100,000. Can you explain that?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee. So what you're referring to is the presentation at the subcommittee when you approved moving forward with the scooter pilot downtown. And one of the statements that was made and is true is that there's no cost to the city because all of the costs for the program and the administration of the program will be recovered. What's on today's formal agenda is an item to award a contract for the retrieval of any scooters that are not parked properly and that the scooter companies don't pick up within the time allotted to them, which is the 2-hour time limit. And when that happens, and the city's notified, the city will use the scooter company to go pick up those scooters and get them placed in the proper place. So the city just needs that contract to be able to pay for that service. However, the fee will be collected from each scooter company for each of those scooters in the amount of $80, which will more than cover the cost paid to the company. And the intent is that we also recover the costs to administer that contract, the staff time involved in administering that contract as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we have a motion?
So I move to approve the minutes.
I'll second. All in
Madam
favor?
Chair, I think there's another question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have a question about the scooters.
Okay.
In the cost, how I am understanding what I just heard was that then we will retrieve the cost. We're putting the money up front, but then we'll retrieve the cost once the scooters are up and running and moving.
Yes, Councilwoman Pastor, that's exactly right. Even though we're paying the company to pick up the scooter, we're charging the scooter company
For the pickup.
For the pickup.
Okay,
That's
thank
right.
you.
Okay. Now, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion unanimously. We have approval for the minutes of the Water, Wastewater, Infrastructure, and Sustainability Subcommittee on June 5th.
And I was on that committee as well, so I move to approve.
Okay. Can we have a second?
Second.
Okay, you. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Consent items 3 through 6. Does anyone have any questions, the staff? Do I have a motion?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Information only, items 7 and 8. Does anyone have any questions? Hearing none, we will go to item 9. I believe we need a staff report. This is Phoenix Food Day and Health Fest. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chairwoman. We're going to have Roseanne Albright and Wendy Brooks from the Phoenix Junior League talk about Food Day on October 26th, along with Health Fest. So they're going to join this year, and we're requesting permission to enter into a memorandum of understanding to allow that. So I'll let Roseanne and Wendy take it. Oh, I am Nancy with Environmental Programs.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee, Roseanne Albright with Office of Environmental Programs. I am excited today to talk to you about our, believe it or not, 7th annual Phoenix Food Day. We started this event in 2013 just for city employees right outside this East Hall courtyard to give employees awareness about healthy eating, nutrition, and really what it takes to improve your own health. And so as a result, and the success of that event, thanks to our former employee who is now retired from Public Works, Gail Latour, I like to call her the founder of Phoenix Food Day for us, we've been able to continue that event. So we've not only grown it, but we've also had an opportunity to enhance it. So we've educated nearly 15,000 people about healthy food, growing food, nutrition. We've engaged over 150 partners in the event. We've helped empower residents to manage their own health and eat better. We're also helping small businesses because in our event we have several small businesses that participate as well. And all of that helps us to achieve our 2050 local food system goals, which is basically to make healthy and affordable food accessible to everyone in our city by 2050. So this year, our event is going to be at the Cartwright Community Garden, just a little bit south of our Maryvale Community Center on Saturday, October 26th. We are very proud this year that we're bringing in a major partner with us, Junior League of Phoenix. We're continuing with our existing partners that have been with us for about the past 3 or 4 years, Maricopa County Food System Coalition, Cartwright School District, Valley of the Sun United Way, and we have sponsors that are coming in, Fry's Food Stores, Vitalis Health Foundation has been a sponsor with us over several years, and several partners, both interdepartmental, water services, fire department, police department, public works, neighborhood services, Office of Sustainability, environmental programs. We all get together in addition to outside stakeholders. One of the really great things that we're doing with Food Day is we've transitioned it into being just a big event in downtown Phoenix to being an event that is a community event held in areas where people are most impacted by food insecurity and hunger. So in 2016, we held it in the Eastlake Garfield neighborhood in partnership with Pilgrim Rest Baptist Church for a couple of years, and they've continued adding food components and health components to their annual fall festival. So Food Day continues to thrive there as well. And that's what we want to do, is we want to engage the community around this Food Day event with Cartwright School District and surrounding areas, host it there for 2 to 3 years, and then leave behind that little mini Phoenix Food Day, and then move on to the next area. So ultimately, over the years, we have many food days all over the city in those areas that people really need that information. So Cartwright Community Garden is a great place for this. In a partnership with them, we understand that they have many community gardens throughout the school district. They've even hired a full-time garden manager, so they're taking this really seriously. And about 85% of the students in the school district receive either free or low-cost lunches, so there really is the need. It's a great space that they want to activate and really make it a community space. So for the day, we have all kinds of things happening. We have gardening demos sponsored by University of Arizona Cooperative Extension and their master gardeners, along with Cartwright. We have giveaways. We have a scavenger hunt. We have demonstrations in their Grow Gus Grow bus, which is an old school bus that they've converted into a garden. It's a mobile garden learning space. So the kids can come in, step on the bus, and learn about gardening. So it's a really great opportunity. Then we also have cooking demonstrations with the chef from the Musical Instrument Museum, Grand Canyon University. Canyon 49 is coming over, as well as bringing food from a local food hub called Green on Purpose. And I'm hoping that possibly Councilwoman Gordalgo might be doing some baking with Betty, shall we call it, in one of our cooking demonstrations. So we'll be including her as well. We'll also have, of course, live music and entertainment because we want to make sure it's a family-friendly atmosphere. We have the dance troupe from Cartwright School District participating, potentially a mariachi band, and we'll see what else we have as far as entertainment goes as well. And then lastly, of course, there's going to be lots of exhibitors. Again, our focus on health, nutrition, growing, physical activity, because that's also important as well, and of course, lots of great food. Lots of great healthy food. And new this year as well, we have the Milwaukee Brewers, who of course have their new stadium just down the street, are going to be participating with us in a mini baseball clinic. So actual players from the Brewers will come and give kids instructions on baseball, and so that's going to be really fun. They'll provide giveaways, and we're also including the GCU baseball team participates as volunteers as well, so it's a lot of fun for the kids. And then our world famous Apple Crunch, we have at high noon, where everybody gets apples provided to us by Fry's Kroger Groceries. And one of the things that I think is really fun about this event is we do a great countdown, and everyone crunches the apple at once to express solidarity for healthy eating. And what I've seen kids exclaim, and you see one of the youngest kids there to munching on the apple, is that you will hear so many folks say, you know what, I didn't really like apples, but I love this apple. And we have kids starting to think more about eating healthier. So that's a fun thing for us to see. And then this year we are adding new to the event our Health Fest component. So I'm really excited to have Wendy Brooks, president of Junior League of Phoenix, talk about Health Fest and how they want to partner, and we desire to partner with them to bring this component to the event. So I'm going to turn it over to Wendy.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for allowing us to come speak to you this morning. Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you for allowing us to come speak to you this morning. A little bit of background about the Junior League of Phoenix. We are one chapter out of 291 in 4 countries. We have over 1,000 members, and this year we are celebrating our 85th anniversary in the city of Phoenix. We have been involved in a variety of different projects and community givebacks, Ronald McDonald House, Race for the Cure, renovation of Rawson House, Orpheum Theater renovation, original member of the Science Center, the Children's Museum. So we're actively engaged and involved in our city, and this is one area that we also want to continue to give back. Our mission for the Junior League is to train women really to go into our community to improve it and to improve our community by volunteer work. But our focus area since 2013 is building a healthy Arizona, specifically around food insecurity, food access, and nutrition. We have some programs that we call signature programs, of which Health Fest has been one. We did it for 2 years, and it was a really great event, but we didn't have the attendance that we should have had, unfortunately. So we took a year off. We had an ad hoc year of this year and said, or this past administrative year, I apologize, how do we bring the people so everybody can, really take advantage of all the different components? We had health screenings and immunizations. We had food cooking as well. We had physical activity, a lot of really great motivators for people to come. So in our process, we connected up with the City of Phoenix because they already had a program that directly dealt with and fit into our focus area. And so we just are trying to bring our volunteers. They have a set committee already. There's approximately 25 women on it. Of course, the financial backing, help to plan or build on the event because it's obviously a standing committee or standing event already. And we just think it would be a great partnership to build this event, to allow our members to be involved, to bring the components that has not, been at this event in the past. And we hope that you all will agree and allow us to do so.
Thank you. So I'd like to ask this subcommittee to approve the memorandum of, So I'd like to request approval from the Transportation Infrastructure and Innovation Subcommittee to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Junior League of Phoenix and accept $11,900 for various expenses related to Phoenix Food Day and Health Fest for our 2019 event. So happy to take any questions as well.
Questions? Any comments?
Comments. So first, I would like to take a moment to thank the Junior League of Phoenix for their hard work and dedication to providing our children and our families access to good, affordable food. You guys came into my office and briefed me on this wonderful program when we first took office. And as I said this to you guys before, and I'll say it again, this is very personal to me, given that I'm someone that lost over 200 pounds. So, healthy eating is incredibly important. I look forward to the event that's coming up to be able to participate, and in whatever way, like me and my office can help with the turnout, right? Because I understand how important it is and to make sure that we teach our children that healthy eating is incredibly important, and getting them to understand that it doesn't have to be very expensive in order for them to be able to get the healthy food, and changing those eating habits from personal experience. I know that it's not easy, and whatever I can do and we can do in our office to help make that happen, we wanna be part of that and make that happen. And then I also want to thank the Milwaukee Brewers for their continued support of young people in our district, as well Vitalist Health Foundation, Fry's, Grand Canyon University, and the Cartwright School District. I look forward to the partnership. I look forward to this event. It's happening in my backyard. It's probably walking distance from where I live. And looking forward to the partnerships and whatever our office can actually do to help. Like, we want to be there and be a good partner. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Very much appreciated.
Thank you. Councilwoman?
I have some comments regarding the Health Fest. I noticed that you partner up with dental. And the only reason I'm thinking this through is because I'm in the middle of another project. Phoenix College has a whole dental program that has to do, or the students have to do community service. So I don't know if I can partner you up with the chair, so that if you need more volunteers in the dental field or to come out and assist, they possibly can partner up and assist. To piggyback on that, we also have a nursing program. And so the nursing program also has to give so many hours to the community. And so possibly they may be able to, the dental and the nursing will combine to come together, and you guys then, if it works, figure out, where they can provide their services. But that's what I was sitting here thinking. I'm like, okay, they need some more volunteers, because if you're anticipating 5,000 people, I'm not sure in the dental how the dental works, but I know in the stand down you have to have appointments, you have to have these pieces that go into play in the dental area. So just a food for thought.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for partnering this year.
Yes.
And again, thanks staff for putting this together. I think it's very exciting and very much needed in this community. So good job. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
You wanna make
Second.
Staff recommendation? Okay. We have a motion to approve the recommendation. A second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously. Thank you. Brings us to item 10, apprenticeship agreements with the state of Arizona. Good morning.
Good morning. Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, we are pleased to be here today to request your recommendation to the full council to officially create 3 new apprenticeship programs for the city of Phoenix. You're already familiar with some of our programming. We have a longstanding electrician apprenticeship program, as well as our solid waste equipment operator and gardener apprenticeship pilot programs that you're familiar with. And today marks our next step forward in partnership with LIUNA Local 777 to support the apprenticeship model for the betterment of our organization and our community. And with me at the table today are David Matthews, Deputy HR Director, Felipe Moreno, Deputy Public Works Director, Jennifer Grundle, Laborers International Union of North America, Local 777, and Sheila Griggs, a current apprentice in our solid waste equipment operator pilot program. And in the audience, we also have representatives from Parks and Rec, as well as the Street Transportation Department that are partners with us in this program as well. Our agenda today includes discussion about our apprenticeship history, specifically our history with Unit 1, LIUNA Local 777, and what we've been working on with them. We will also discuss the benefits of apprenticeships in general to the city and to the apprentices themselves. We will explain our next steps to make this program fully operational, and we will also ask for your recommendation to the full council on September 18th. And now I'm going to turn it over to David Matthews, who's going to talk about the apprenticeship history.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the subcommittee. In 2016, during the labor negotiations with LIUNA, we added 2 pilot apprenticeship programs to help recruit, train, and retain employees in hard-to-fill skilled positions. The first of these positions was the solid waste equipment operator. This is a one-year program and was up and running in 2017. The second was for gardeners in the Parks Department, and this is currently a two-year program and started in late 2017 as well. We've had 12 employees successfully complete one of these two programs and 2 more employees scheduled to complete their program December of this year. So it'll be a total of 14 this year with an additional 4 graduating in April of next year. During the 2019 labor negotiations, we added 1 additional program for a street maintenance worker in the streets department. That program meetings are currently being scheduled and will be up and running by the end of this year. Now, Felipe and Jennifer are going to go over some of the benefits of these apprenticeship programs.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee. So in terms of benefits, there is a myriad of them, especially with what the city gets as well as what the apprentices get. From a city standpoint, the 2 primary benefits that we see are, one, that we can continue to create a pipeline for an engaged workforce, the future of our industry, the future of solid waste, future of gardening, streets, etc., as well as diversifying our workforce. That's a huge benefit as well. If you haven't noticed, the term is always garbage man, and we are changing that very quickly in Phoenix
Right.
because we are garbage people now. We have women coming through the apprenticeship program, and I think that's also attracted women to feel like this is a place that they can apply for our regular field positions. So those are 2 very big areas that we've seen a benefit, and it all starts with our recruitment. And so with recruiting, we've done extensive outreach to look out for our women, veterans, and youth. And so really doing work with My Brother's Keeper initiatives. We reach out to Fresh Start Women's Center. We work with the Human Services Department, the Workforce Connections, state and county resources to really try to get out the word to attract people who might not normally apply for these types of jobs. And we've been highly successful in that area. And now in the past 2 years, we've had between 250 and 300 people apply for these jobs. So we know that it is very, very popular. So once we do recruit them, the exciting thing is we have a blank canvas because we don't require any experience. All we want is you want to be here and you want to have a great attitude and you want to build a career. That's all we ask. And from there, we take it. And so we put in over 2,000 hours of training, and that includes helping them get their commercial driver's license. So we cover that. We help them earn their commercial driver's license. They then learn about the city culture, policies, procedures, our commitment to excellent customer service and the residents we serve, the importance of being safe in a very dangerous profession, as well as being efficient. You know, we want to be efficient, we want to be safe, we want to provide great service all the time, and that's something we train them from the ground up, as well as providing them the knowledge of all the heavy equipment that they're going to drive. So they're driving on a closed course, they're driving out with trainers in the community, and then they're at a point now where Sheila is, where they're picking up routes on their own, and she's doing a great job. So that's a big part of it, is that extensive training, and then that leads to retention. If we're recruiting right and we're training them right, then hopefully we're building a culture where they want to stay. And so while the competitive CDL market out there is hot, we have to really focus on what we do well, which is creating a culture of engagement, inclusion, wanting people to understand this is a career, not a job. And so we really try to create that culture with our apprentices and our staff, that this is a place you can build a future, and it's not just somewhere you want to stay and leave. And so that is the way we compete with everyone outside, is saying Phoenix is just better. And so with that, I will turn it over to Jen Grundle.
Nothing wrong with telling the truth.
Yeah.
I hate following him. It just sounds so poised when it gets to me. So, good morning, Chairwoman and committee members. I don't know how this works. Okay. So let me how I start. I know I've talked about these programs a lot, and they're near and dear to my heart. I'm hoping that this is the beginning and they expand to the entire city and to every union. I mean, that's the objective, right? That we build everyone up. So I am supposed to talk about the apprenticeship benefits, and I will stay on point by beginning with an MLK quote. All work is worth doing if it has dignity. And these programs provide that. We've taken folks, as Felipe said, we're looking at people that are living off the grid. We're looking at veterans. We're looking at veterans that are living off the grid, that are homeless. Women in non-traditional work, which is Sheila, working as solid waste equipment operator. We're trying to bring them in as gardeners. Our class for apprenticeship, this class that Sheila's in, is comprised of 50% women. 50% women driving garbage trucks. Well, that is awesome. Like, it's just amazing. And I know I work for the labor, so I work for a construction union, but even there, we try and struggle to get women into the field. We just do. Not everyone wants to do it. It's becoming a better trend. And then, thanks to you guys, as of May 1st, when apprentices come in, they make a livable wage. They're making $15 an hour. I don't even know how to thank you for that. That is amazing. I mean, they come in now, and we pay for the training collectively in our joint program, thanks to you, and they're making a wage to support themselves and their family. That's something that I think is a benefit for the apprentice. Through that, we are giving them and providing them training. So their commercial driver's license on average could be up to $5,000 in the private sector. So they're going to debt to get that. Well, then I'm never going to drive a garbage truck. I have to go through, I forgot how it works and forgot about it. Forget about these things. And then to be a gardener, there's certain certificates they have to have and training they have to have. They can't do that on their own. People can't. You're trying to start up into a new career. We provide a career now through these programs. I'm trying to stay on point. I apologize. I never refer back. Never on point. And then the benefits are obvious to me of health and retirement security. And if you follow me, in my speeches, I talk about it a lot. It's so critical that you have a career, that we train for the career. We're literally changing someone's life and their family's life, and then they're able to retire in dignity and actually retire, because so many people now are not able to do that. One minor medical procedure and people are now living on the streets and they don't have a pension. The city of Phoenix provides a pension for them in the end. So, and they stay. So apprentices tend to stay statistically with where they're trained. And we think that's an incredible benefit. So I stopped talking. I'm going to turn it over to Sheila so she can talk about the program herself and what she's seen.
Good morning, Madam Chair and subcommittee members. Thank you for having me here. I just want to give a little piece of my story of the apprenticeship and what it's done for me. Honestly, when I applied for City of Phoenix, I was living out of my van. And I didn't tell anybody because I wanted to work for it. I was not going to fail. Failure was not an option for me. So I went through the whole process of getting hired and stuff, and I was picked out of over 200 people. There was only 4 people that were picked, and I was one of them. So I went through this is the thing I would have never been able to afford to do, because I would have gone into debt trying to get the training, to get my CDL. And just the way the program promotes safety. You know, it's all about being safe and operating these large, very, very large vehicles safely. It's really changed my life around, because I'm no longer homeless, but I have a great job. I have longevity. I was laid off, and that's what put me in the situation that I was in. I'm thankful for the apprenticeship, and I hope that they thrive and they continue to grow. I know this could be life-changing for many people, not only women. I mean, they definitely they help all types of people, and that's why I like the diversity of Phoenix. It's amazing. I went to a Flagstaff landfill, and that's all they talked about was our diversity and how we had women drivers, and they really looked up to us. So it makes me very proud, being a Phoenician all my life, to actually be a part of something that's the City of Phoenix. And I want to thank everybody for the opportunity, and that's all I think I'll have to say.
Well, thank you very much. I love your attitude.
Thank you. I give it my all. I'm here for, the long run. You'll be seeing me retire many, many, many years from now.
Did anyone have any questions?
Hold on, one second,
Okay.
Madam Chair, if you don't mind, let us just tell you what we're asking you for, and then we will open it up for questions, because we do have an ask. We do have a request. We are asking, actually, let me talk about our next steps just really quick. In order to make these programs official, to really make them fully operational, we need to register the programs. We need to ask the council to allow us to sign the agreements with the state of Arizona. We are going to also request an apprenticeship coordinator, a full-time employee to make sure that we are in compliance with the state requirements. There are a lot of reporting requirements, and we also need to make sure that we have adequate coordination amongst the various programs, and that we are providing each of them the quality recruitment efforts that are required to bring individuals like Sheila into the program. And so we are formally requesting the subcommittee's recommendation to the council. This will
be on the September 18th formal council agenda to be able to sign those apprenticeship agreements with the state, as well as the full-time employee to serve as the apprenticeship coordinator. So that is our ask of you today, and we'd really appreciate your consideration.
Will
Thank
you
you so much.
be able to increase the number that participate?
That is our goal, yes, absolutely. So, Madam Chair, we are working with the departments who are participating. Right now, we've got multiple departments participating in these programs, and we hope to increase the number of positions that we have available to bring new apprentices in. And with that coordinator in place, that's going to allow us to better coordinate between the departments to make sure that we're recruiting in those employees and that we're able to develop them throughout the programs. Yes, we are.
Councilwoman Stewart?
Thank you. I think this is a great program. And Sheila, thank you for all you do. I've said this a few times before. There's a lot of high-profile jobs in the city, police and fire. But what you do, if I get one call because their trash didn't get picked up, I can't use the dirty word, but you know what? All breaks loose. And really, you guys do such great work. Never get complaints. Never get complaints. It's because of people like you. So thank you for what you do. I'm glad you're with the City of Phoenix. I think the apprentice program is a great program. I know they've had it in the state for years with ADOT, and I know we've had it for several years, and I hope we continue to move forward and create other positions that can help through apprenticeships. So anyway, I can support it. I want to support it. But thanks again, and thanks, Sheila. What a great story.
So Sheila, first and foremost, thank you so much for sharing your story. I know that it's not easy. Being a former organizer, I know that it's not easy to get in front of everyone and tell everyone where you came from and where you're going. And just like on a personal level, my husband also tried getting a CDL license somewhere else where it was non-union. And he went through the program, he got the license, and he was out of a job within a month, right? Just because the benefit, you're preaching to the choir, right? When we talk about how important it is, right, to making sure that we have good quality jobs throughout the city of Phoenix, especially like our city employees, right? Like it's incredibly important to make sure that they love their job and that they love what they do day in and day out. And for the last 20 years, I've been a huge advocate for one job should be enough, right? And people should be able to retire, right, with good health. I think lately a lot of our people like are retiring, but not in good health and not able to really live that American dream the way that they should. And I would love to see this program keep getting expanded to all the different unions, right, like within the city. Like it's something that I would love to be able to support and help with, right, because it's something that's very dear to my heart, given that I've experienced it personally through my husband. And as a union organizer, I understand how great and important it is to making sure that we have good quality jobs throughout the city and making sure that our calls are in a lot lower, right? It is true, like getting a call that someone's trash didn't get picked up or that the parks are dirty, like is not something that we want to deal with, right? We want to deal with bigger issues than that, and you guys help us every day, and whatever I can do to be helpful in making this happen and bringing in more women into these jobs, definitely want to be helpful with that. So thank you so much.
Councilwoman Pastor?
Thank you, Chairwoman. I just am delighted at the fact that we're here today when, what was it, 2016 when we kicked it off, really 2015. I had a great time along with Councilwoman Williams in kicking it off, being able to experience how to drive a truck, which I chose not to. I got in it. I was able to, I don't know what they were teaching me, and at that point I just said, never mind, I'm not interested. This is way too much for me. And it requires, if anybody understands these trucks, it requires a lot of brain power in the sense of stopping, going, shifting, moving this, loading, unloading, and it requires a lot of technique. It's a skill that a lot of people don't have. It's a skill, it's an art for me to see how a person or an employee can move such a large vehicle and be able then to pick up trash, but also pick up trash with a smile. have integrity in their work, have dignity, and in the whole process also providing service to our customers. So I really appreciate where we are today in this piece. My question, though, is I heard, and I'm not sure if I'm correct, but I heard that there were very limited, I don't know, I want to say limited, but there were maybe 6, or how many trainees do we have actually in this process? And how many opportunities do we have for trainees and positions? That's where I was getting confused on.
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, so currently with the SWIO group, the class sizes are between 4 and 6.
Okay.
With the Gardner Apprenticeship Program, the class sizes are 2 at a time. So we're recruiting an additional 2 right now for the Gardner. As Lori mentioned, we're looking at ways to expand the opportunities we have for apprenticeship positions to bring in more. With the addition of the Street Maintenance Worker Apprenticeship Program, there will be several more opportunities to join an apprenticeship program.
So when we join an apprenticeship program, because what I heard there were 200 and you were one of the lucky ones. So there's obviously a need. I guess my question is there a demand? And if there is a demand within our city and within our areas, what's the cost? This is for a future, but where I'm going, I'm already long-term now. What is the cost for us to grow this program even further and faster? If we look at the succession plan, which HR does, I'm sure we're seeing a succession plan within the next 5 to 7 years of retirements, and how then do we fill those positions as a group retires and be able then to shift and move quickly. The other element is I know some people also want to advance. So when they enter, how do we assist with these programs, but also continue to assist with advancement within our city? So those are questions for the future, but I'm a firm believer of this program. They're loyal. They won't leave us.
Just in addition to her questions, I see that with this creation of this new position, that's going to help us grow the apprenticeship. That person will help look for future programs or future apprenticeships.
Absolutely,
Okay.
Madam Chair, Councilwoman Stark, and Councilwoman Pastor. All of those things that you discussed are our goals and where we're trying to go. Our apprenticeship coordinator will help with doing some of that analysis, helping us to figure out and working with BNR on how do we grow the programs at a sustainable rate. Also, we are working on plans for career ladder progressions, and how do we help employees who want to promote and grow within the organization do so, and then be able to fill behind them, because there is a high demand. And while we have a lot of applicants, there's also a lot of turnover in these positions. And so it's a difficult job, and some want to move on to other things as well. And so we want to make sure that we're able to support all of those elements. Part of the reason we've started these apprenticeship programs in these particular classifications is because they are hard to fill. They are hard to retain employees in these positions, and we want to make sure that there is a livable wage, that there is dignity in the work, and that there is a career progression, so that people feel good about being in the jobs, they stay in them, and then when they do move on, we're able to fill behind them.
Great.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you so much.
Glad to have you on board. Our next item is the Water Services Department Capital Improvement Program. And we voted last year to really improve our distribution system, to make it flow northward and to other regions. And we continue this state to have water problems. And so I asked them if they would come quarterly and give us a report on their progress. So, Catherine?
Good morning, Chairwoman, subcommittee members. Thank you for listening to us this morning. Many of you will recall during our most recent recommendation process, we talked a lot about how infrastructure makes up about 60% of our costs and spending, and how the need to continually invest in our infrastructure is really one of the main drivers for the need to increase rates from time to time. During that process, Phoenix City Council asked us to develop a website that our ratepayers can use to more easily see and understand the infrastructure projects that are happening in their neighborhoods and across the city. The website is really meant to enhance accountability and transparency regarding our investment in infrastructure out there in the community. So here with us today is Darlene Helm. Darlene is in charge of our water engineering group, and she's been working really hard on this project, and she is going to take you through the website and show you what we have.
Great, thank you.
Okay, Madam Chairwoman, committee members, I also have with me today Felicita Mendoza assisting with the website presentation. She's in the back running it for us because it's a live presentation of the website. So as Catherine mentioned, our goal of the website is to raise public awareness of the importance of our critical water and wastewater infrastructure improvements throughout the community. Myself, along with our core team in water and our consultant, have been working very hard over the last several months to develop this website that we're going to walk you through today. So what you're looking at on the screen behind you, and it's going to look much better on your computer screen at your desk. It's a little faded when we project it here on these screens. So what you're looking at is the home page. So when this goes live, there will be a link on phoenix.gov on the Water Services Department main homepage that will link you to our capital improvement program homepage. So basically what our focus is and what we want you to get out of this is investing in our infrastructure is investing in our future. So that's the focus of the website. So I'll highlight a few key features on this homepage. Oh yeah, that helps a little bit there. And then we'll move right into our mapping system, which I think is going to be the key tool that people will use on this website. So here on the homepage, just some things to point out is that up at the top, we have different tabs that you can go to learn information. One important tab is the Connect with Us, so you can connect to our customer service, report a leak. It takes you to a page on our website. So giving people the ability to contact us on each of these pages if they have questions. Also next to it is the pay your bill. We get that question about for any all the time people are asking, how do I pay my bill? So that connects us to our billing system. So that can be, you can access that through this website. And then in addition, our other city projects. So we've created links for other large CIP programs within the city, streets and aviation. So you can, it takes you to their websites for their capital programs. And then down at the bottom of the page, for all of any of the city websites allow you to translate the website into a different language. So our website has that same feature. So you can just scroll through and choose any language that you'd like to see the website translated to. So those are just some key features here on the homepage, and we're going to go straight into what I think most people will be interested in, which is viewing our map that has all of our active water and wastewater projects that are showing up. So what you're seeing, and excuse us, the pastel colors are not coming up really well on the screen, but what you're seeing is the council districts are in pastel colors, so they're denoted by council district. And then the other colors that you're seeing are active construction projects are in blue, the active design projects are in orange, and then any assessment activities that we have going on. So we're going to give you an example of a project that's going to start here in the next week, that 12th Street and Campbell in Phoenix, and so we can show you some more details of what if somebody is, driving through the area or it's their neighborhood and they want to see what's going on, you can zoom into that area. So we've zoomed in now, highlighted the area, and we have a small diameter sewer rehab project that's going to be going on. So people may have gotten a flyer because it's going to start next week. On the project tab, you list the project number, the start date, the end date, what type of project it is, the budget that we're spending on it. So it's just a small amount of sewer main that we're rehabbing. And then we can view our construction notice. So this gives you more information about more specifics about the project itself, and then also has a hotline number who to contact. So we'll be able to link the flyers on any of the projects that we have under construction here on the website. And then to the right, we have the impacts. So these are typical things that somebody might encounter with this type of project. So we think this is going to be one of the key tools that people will go to, so you can get to it multiple ways from our homepage, so that they can look to see what types of projects are happening in the neighborhood. So Nat, we had this opportunity to also share more information, not just the map and where the projects are going. So we're going to explain, there's some other tabs about what we're improving. So this gives a little more detail on what actual infrastructure improvement means. So, and how much money we're spending overall. So you see there in the center, it's $2.8 billion for our capital program. That's for water and wastewater for the 5-year program. We give a little bit more information about what it means for what is a capital improvement program. People may not know what that means, so we give a definition there. What's an assessment? What does design mean? So just trying to explain some of these terms that we get used to, saying, but the public may not know what that means. And then construction. And then obviously the key reasons why we do what we do to protect public health, improve water quality, all of the reasons we're doing the projects that we are.
Can you go back a
Yeah.
slide? Another one. Where you have the people standing, another one, backwards.
Back up to the top, very top maybe, up there.
I thought I saw one where you had the pipe and people were standing in it.
Oh, was it down in the little box where we said learn about our CIP? And then scroll down.
Yes,
Oh, yes, right there.
What is that?
So right there, they are doing what's called, they're rehabbing a large main, and there's what's called slip lining. So they're basically, we have a pipe, it's aging, we need to take, we'll take a steel cylinder and we literally slide it inside the old pipe, and now you have a brand new pipe, and you haven't had to dig up the old pipe. You're able to just reinsert a pipe inside of it. So that is one, and that is on our Val Vista main, so it's a large main, so it's a big activity, to do a big effort for that.
It looks like a large main.
Yeah. Because the people are standing in it, yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. So then this is giving more information about how we're spending our funds. So this, and we can toggle between water and wastewater. This is the water side of it, and you can toggle over to wastewater. So for wastewater, we're just showing you how that funding is broken up by different types of projects. So it's treatment, how much are we spending in the 5-year capital program, pipelines, lift stations. We give the information just what the total 5-year program is for wastewater, the $1.1 billion, and how many active projects we have going on. So the map is showing you active projects. So it's not showing you everything. It's just showing what's active. It has some activity that somebody may be able to see either through an assessment or a design. Somebody's out doing some sort of work. And then we can toggle as well to the drinking water system, and it has the same information broken out for the water side.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I noticed down below it says 5-year capital program, and then we have the capital improvement program. Are those two distinctions?
I think we mean the same thing, and I
Okay.
think it's just a terminology thing, but for us, the capital improvement program and the capital program is the same thing.
So is it possible to just keep it consistent and just keep it where it's capital program or capital improvement
And we
program,
can
whatever the
definitely-
language
yes,
is,
yep.
just for mine's sake?
Sure, yeah, and.
Good catch, yeah.
Yes, no, and that's absolutely, we can make those changes. So we're just sharing with you some of the highlights. So we plan to have have a soft go live starting next week, where we'll share the link because it's not live yet, but we'll share the link with stakeholders throughout the city and the community so we can get feedback. So your feedback there, Councilwoman Pastor, any of those kind of things, because once you start to look at it a lot, you tend to miss things. And so we're going to go through a testing period. So we'll gather all of those comments. Many of your staff have already given us some initial comments, but we'll go through and get comments and then move to an official go live for the presentation or for the website. And we'll do a publicity, multiple different types of publicity. We'll reach out on social media, through our water bills, just all kinds of things you can think of to promote the website going live. But we want to have that initial test period just so we can get some feedback.
This looks great. I just want to understand, this is for all the public, but if you have a project in an immediate neighborhood, you're still going to notify them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Madam Chair, Councilwoman Stark, absolutely. We have a very extensive outreach program, literally go door to door.
This is just a new addition to.
This is in addition to that program.
Perfect.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
I have one more question. On the capital improvement program, does it state how do those items get into the capital improvement program? Because I get asked that. And so is there, I guess what I'm asking is there then another Dropbox or a link to say, this is the process of capital improvement programs?
Madam Chair, Councilwoman Pastor, we don't have that explicitly explained on the website, but that is absolutely something that we can add if that's a frequent question. We have a very formal process for inclusion in our capital improvement program, and then a very formal process for how we prioritize what the needs are and how to fund them. And we could explain that through this website. That's a great suggestion.
You can explain it through the website, or if they want additional information, who do they contact?
Yeah.
And I would probably explain it on the website to get the
Yeah.
question
Right.
answered.
Yeah.
Only because you're going to get calls, and so.
Yeah, sure. No, thank you. That's a great idea.
So could you talk a little bit about how you're coordinating the streets? We have such an aggressive pavement program going on. What are you doing to make sure that we're not tearing up a street that's just been paved?
Yeah, okay. So Madam Chairwoman, Councilwoman Stark. So we have reached out to streets and had discussion with them. Right now, this is focused on water and wastewater because of just getting it built. But we've been in discussion about how could we take that map and also bring in streets projects, and how that could maybe be a phase 2, so maybe we're sharing a mapping system, and we're kind of trying to come up with ideas of how that would actually, come about, but it is in discussion, so it's something out there.
But Madam Chair, Councilwoman Stark, I think you were also asking, to what extent the Streets Department and the Water Department coordinate our projects so that we're not continually digging up streets that we just paved. And the answer is yes, we do coordinate extensively. I know at times it seems like that's not the case, but we do. We share our capital plans with the Streets Department and vice versa. Our teams meet so that we can understand, the best timing of projects. Unfortunately, there's not always that much overlap. So the age of a street may or may not have anything to do with the need to replace the pipeline underneath it, and vice versa. But to the extent that we can coordinate those projects and make it less painful for our customers, more cost effective for the city, we absolutely do that.
Well, thank you very much for the update, and it's very impressive.
Yeah, very.
We just need to advertise this.
Yes.
Our next item is pedestrian safety update. This is something we've been working on for over a year because people seem to avoid the crosswalks and like to walk the short route, but unfortunately it's pretty dangerous and often fatal. So I know you've spent a lot of time and effort into this, so I'll give it over to you.
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, we're very happy to be here today to give you an update on what we've been doing in the area of pedestrian safety over the last few months in our team. I'm joined at the table here by Mylin Pinkovitz, who is our pedestrian safety coordinator. She's been on the job since March, She's going to take you through the majority of the presentation, but before I turn it over to her, I wanted to cover a few things first. First, the agenda, what we're going to be talking about today. The first is really providing a little bit of a pedestrian safety update on what we've been doing in the areas, and we've talked a little bit about in the past about the 4 E's of pedestrian safety: evaluation, engineering, education, and enforcement. We're going to cover the first 3 areas because normally the enforcement piece is something that is associated with the police department's response and how they deal with pedestrian safety activity. So we're going to talk about those first 3, and so Mylan's going to take you through a little presentation on what we've been doing in those areas. And as far as the next piece, I'm sorry, I should have clicked here. The second piece of this is talking about our what we propose for safety improvements. As you're well aware, the council authorized $2 million beginning this fiscal year. It's going to be an annual budget item to be able to be dedicated to pedestrian safety improvements in our roadways. So we're going to cover what we would propose. And I will mention ahead of time that this, even when we're talking about just for information and discussion, we're looking for your input specifically on that item because we have an intention of coming back here next month with action on those proposed safety improvements. And we'll ultimately go to full council for requesting their approval as well, those pedestrian safety expenditures, planned expenditures. So, I hit the wrong button. So, the pedestrian safety issue. Before we talk about what's happening in Phoenix, I just want to talk about, this is a nationwide issue, but we're dealing with pedestrian safety. You can see the trend here line, and this is looking at pedestrian fatalities nationally, topping out at over 6,000 pedestrian fatalities last year. And that, I should say that those are estimated numbers. Typically, when we're talking about pedestrian fatality numbers, because they can be reported in different ways, it typically takes about 2 years to finalize and data mine those ones to make sure they're accurate. But I will note that that number, the 6,000 pedestrian fatalities, is the highest it's been since 1990. That was the higher point before that, so we really hit something high over the last 30 years. Now, specifically talking about Phoenix, we have seen a dramatic rise here in Phoenix, especially over the last 5 years. And so this is why we should be talking about it today and why it should be a major focus for our city. I will note that the 112 estimated fatalities that we have for 2018 represents a 200% increase over the last 5 years. Now, if you compare that to nationally, there's been a 67% increase over that time. So we are seeing a much more significant increase over that time than nationally. Now, if you go to other numbers here, I did want to leave you with a little bit of good news because if you look at the first 6 months of 2018 and the first 6 months of 2019, we are seeing a 24% decrease thus far through the first 6 months. And so we don't know the reasons why that is right now. I would like to be able to think that the things we've been doing to address pedestrian safety and have more investments in it have taken an impact to that. But I also know realistically, it only takes a couple bad weeks out on the streets or a bad month to reverse that recent trend. I'm hoping it's something that continues. And before I turn it over to Mylan, I did want to point out just in this area because it's noteworthy. You may recall that down in the area of 39th Avenue and Southern Avenue, we had 2 pedestrian fatalities at the end of last year in 2018. We worked with council offices in D7 and D8 and met with the community out there and really talked to them about what they needed to do or what we needed to do to try to address that issue. We committed to them back early in the spring that we would have a new traffic signal installed at that location by September. I'm happy to report that as to 10 a.m. this morning, that traffic signal went live. We've already had some good feedback from the community down there, and I know that's going to make that safer, that intersection. And there's other improvements we're going to be doing along that straight along with working with Maricopa County Department of Transportation as well. So I wanted to leave a little good news before we talk a little bit more about some of the more good news that Mylan's going to share with you.
Thank you, and good morning, Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee. My name is Mylan Penkiewicz. I'm the Pedestrian Safety Coordinator for the Street Transportation Department, and I work in the Office of Pedestrian Safety, which was established to be able to address the increase that we've seen in pedestrian fatalities here in Phoenix. Our office has the goal to reduce pedestrian fatalities by implementing street safety improvements and also educating the public and working collaboratively, not only with our community, but also with other departments here in the city of Phoenix. Within our department, we have a variety of staff dedicated specifically to pedestrian safety, and it includes staff that looks at data analysis. So we look not only at the trends of what we're seeing with pedestrian safety, what are the violations that we're seeing on the driver's side, on the pedestrian side, but also the locations of the issues that we're seeing out there on our streets. We have school safety staff, and we have one person dedicated to working with the 500 schools in the city of Phoenix. And not only we work with schools in terms of pedestrian safety and how to address pedestrian safety issues, but we also go out to the schools and we do assemblies and we educate kids from the ranges anywhere from a kindergarten to high school on the importance of being safe and being a safe pedestrian. We also have a traffic safety analyst, and this is a person that looks at all of the data and provides recommendations related to traffic safety improvements and pedestrian improvements to trying to decrease the trend on pedestrian fatalities and also avoid as much as possible conflicts between pedestrians and vehicles. And we also do a lot of planning. I am a planner by trade, and we work closely with the Planning and Development Department on all of the new developments that come here to the city to ensure that they're in tandem with the existing pedestrian infrastructure that we have on our streets, so that front doors are nearby and close to our traffic signals, and they direct pedestrian traffic in the appropriate ways. I wanted to talk to you about the first E that we use, which is the E of evaluation. And as you can see, this is a hotspot analysis area of the city of Phoenix, which includes our serious and fatal collisions for the last 2 years within the city of Phoenix. And we use this analysis a lot to prioritize funding, to apply for grants, and also to work with our stakeholders at these particular communities and hear out their concerns. And we also work with our right-of-way inspectors here at the Street Transportation Department. So we have many of these areas of the city inspected for street lighting about 4 times a year, and also to ensure that our pedestrian infrastructure is working and it's visible to both drivers and pedestrians at these locations. And we also target a lot of our community outreach and education efforts to these particular areas of the city. In terms of evaluation, I wanted to share with you the preliminary numbers for 2018 for our fatal and serious collisions in the city. And we can see that this past year, 83% of our collisions occur on arterial roads and about 65% occurred at night. This is very similar to national numbers, where we see about 75% of these issues happening on arterial roads and at night. 57% of these collisions were within 500 feet of a signalized crossing. We find that in 42% of the cases, pedestrians were not in a crosswalk. And unfortunately, in a quarter of the cases, we have collisions that involve a hit-and-run driver. And in a quarter of the cases last year, these collisions occur on the stretches of roads at City of Phoenix that have the old standard of street lighting, which is only the one side lit up for the street. In terms of evaluation, this past 6 months, we've been working closely with ASU and a multidisciplinary team that involves the schools of urban planning, public health, we have criminology and public administration and law specialists focused on data analysis and research of our existing collisions and issues in our city of Phoenix in terms of pedestrian safety. And they have been working with us on analyzing risk factors for when these collisions are occurring. What things are in our roads or are not there that are causing a lot of the issues. We look at the role of design of our developments. Many times we see developments where a front door may not be near a corner of the street or where it's accessible and close to an existing traffic light. So does that play a role in the way that people choose to cross the street to save time or maybe to avoid the heat? We look at countermeasures, and we've also been looking at pedestrian activity. We are very, very good at estimating the volume of traffic and vehicular traffic that new developments generate, but usually when it comes to pedestrian activity and volume, it's more difficult, and it is great data to have in order to be able to provide countermeasures. In terms of the E of engineering, in June of this year, the city activated its 50th hawk at the Grand Canal near Thomas, and we have 18 more activations of hawks planned in 2019 for a total of 45 through the year 2022. And in terms of engineering grants, in June of this year, our department applied for the 2019 Highway Safety Improvement Program grants. And these are grants that are specifically done for safety, traffic safety, and we wanted to have a special emphasis on pedestrian safety. So we have applied for 14 different segments of street lighting for the older parts of town that have the old street lighting standard, and for 10 additional hawks for our city. This is $5 million in grant funding with a $2 million match, and it sets out construction for the year 2023. And we should be hearing back from the Arizona Department of Transportation in November of this year. In terms of grants, as well, in June of this year, the Street Transportation Department put on an application for the BUILD grant, which stands for Better Utilizing Investments to Leverage Development. It's a long name. And we specifically chose 35th Avenue from the I-10 to Camelback Road. We did this very intentionally due to the issues that we see in pedestrian safety. So the $22 million BUILD grant application includes the installation of center medians along 35th Avenue, installation of LED lighting on the west side of 35th Avenue, which currently does not have lighting, the installation of hawks to provide mid-block crossings at specific locations where there is a need, and also full intersection rebuilds of our traffic signals to bring them to the newer standard of traffic signals that we use throughout the city. And we should be hearing back from the Department of Transportation also in November of this year. In terms of the E for Education, we have our Walk to School Days coming up, which happen from late September to early November. For our Walk to School Days, we work with approximately 30 schools in the city of Phoenix. We do great events where kids can walk to school, their parents walk kids to school. We do audits to make sure that those walks are safe for kids. And we also go out to the schools, work with our school resource officers to talk a lot about pedestrian safety and being safe out on the streets. We've also been attending community meetings to talk to our public about pedestrian safety issues, take on their concerns, and talk not only about the importance of being a safe pedestrian, but also being a safe driver out in our City of Phoenix roads. And we have been doing internal presentations. In fact, in the month of June, all of our safety meetings for our field staff had the topic of pedestrian safety, because a lot of our field staff become pedestrians at some point during their work day, or they may drive to their work locations. So we talked a lot about the issues, the trends, and the things that we see and how to stay safe out there. In terms of education as well, we are working with Arizona State University on a pilot for Maryvale area, our village of Maryvale, where we see a lot of pedestrian collisions. And we are working to generate partnerships with different community organizations, health organizations, school districts to curb the trend in pedestrian fatalities. We're looking to utilize our data, but also the community input that we receive from our community to create area-specific solutions, and also to create compelling traffic safety campaigns. When it comes to traffic safety, pedestrian safety, as well as when it comes to wearing our seatbelt, not smoking, pool safety, these are all messages that we hear all the time, but perhaps in applying them, there might be a little bit of cognitive dissonance. So we want to work with our community to see what works for them. And lastly, in terms of education, in May of this year, the Street Transportation Department received a grant from the Governor's Office of Highway Safety for $15,000 to create a coloring book for kids from the 3rd grade to the 6th grade. And we wanted to do something very special, not only just a coloring book, because we understand that kids in that age range, perhaps they don't want to color anymore. So we very quickly came together as a team and put together a very engaging pedestrian safety activity book. And it includes 22 pages of interesting exercises that kids can do. And something special that we wanted to do with this book was talk specifically about risk factors that we see here in the city of Phoenix, but also nationally. So the importance of staying safe when walking at night, the importance of being safe when walking to and from public transit, and also walking distracted, which is an issue that we also see. And we're hoping to have the English version of the book printed at the end of September of this year. It's part of our Heads Up campaign, and as part of that, I wanted to thank you, Councilwoman Williams, for collaborating with us on our Heads Up campaign and the PSAs that you've done.
I had a question.
Yes.
So is this going to be provided in Spanish?
We are working to translate the book in Spanish. The printing of the book in Spanish is not going to be done because there is additional design. As you know, Spanish tends to take about 20% more text, but we're very, very excited to be able to provide it in Spanish. And we had a lot of conversations regarding what is the best way to say it, because we don't want to translate a lot of our street signs that we have out there on the streets, but we do want to provide the translation for them so that people can see that what a stop sign is, but really what it means next to it. Because unfortunately, people don't get to see our road signs in Spanish, but we want people to be able to understand them. And it's something that's very near and dear to me. I'm an immigrant to this country myself, and I know the importance of being able to understand the rules of the road. And if for anyone that has ever traveled to a different country and you see all sorts of crazy signs and things, it can be very scary. So it's something that we're working very hard to be able to have ready.
Madam Chair, Councilwoman Guardado, when Mylan started talking a little bit how our proposed spending, actually that's one of the things in our spending plan for this fiscal year is the translation into Spanish, so we can print those into Spanish.
Thank you. I'll talk a little bit more about that. So we have our proposed safety improvements for this fiscal year, and they're listed here, but I will go through each one of the items with you so we can better explain what we're talking about. The first item is street lighting, and in particularly a street lighting segment that we have in mind, which is 27th Avenue from Bethany Home to Maryland Avenue. This is a stretch of road of 27th Avenue that is lacking street lighting on the east side of the road. And in this particular segment, we have seen in the past 5 years 6 fatal collisions and 5 serious injury collisions. And when I say serious injury collisions, I mean incapacitating injuries that are life-altering for the person that suffers them. All of these collisions have occurred at nighttime, and hence the importance to be able to light up this segment of road. I want to point out that we have applied for grant funding for other parts of 27th Avenue, part of that HSIP grant that I talked about earlier. However, that is funding that is 5 years out and 6 years out when we look at construction. So we want to be able to address these issues ahead of time and be able to install street lighting much sooner than 5 years, given the issues that we're seeing at this location. The next item.
I have a question regarding 27th Avenue. Because we have had, I want to say the last 3 years, a VIP coordination between 3 council offices, 4, 5, and is it 1? Williams, 1. And all of us were on board on the improvements that are needed from 27th Avenue, from all the way, I want to say it started from McDowell all the way up. I would like to know what other improvements are happening on 27th Avenue, because lighting is one of the key areas from where we start to all the way we end. In addition to that, we have hot spots on 27th Avenue that need to get covered, and they need to get covered by lighting because it is so dark on 27th Avenue. So I would like to ask for you guys to come back with a comprehensive plan of what's going to happen all on 27th Avenue with the lighting and the safety piece. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The next item is single street lights, and we have occasions when residents come to us and request crosswalks at specific locations in the city, and this is a perfect example on 44th Avenue near Glen Rosa, where we had a facility that operated 24 hours a day, so workers were crossing the street during the night and during the day, and they requested a crosswalk to go from the parking lot to their specific work location. And as much as we can go and paint the stripes and put the crosswalk in, the reality of it is that there is no lighting on that particular segment of road. So single street lights help us achieve our goals to be able to install crosswalks and also be able to light them. And this is one light at a time per request that we receive from the community.
What's one light cost?
About $10,000.
The next item is the installation of medians in areas of our towns, particularly hotspot locations. Medians provide, they're actually called pedestrian refuge areas because they provide that rest for pedestrians. If they're crossing large arterial roads, they can stop in the middle and feel protected by a median and be able to have time to assess the traffic, the oncoming traffic, to see what the volume and the speed is in order to proceed on the road. They have a pedestrian crash reduction factor of about 46%. And again, they allow people to feel safer when they're crossing the street and to provide a middle point where people can stop and feel protected from traffic. The next item is HAWKs, or High Intensity Activated Crosswalks, even though the acronym doesn't really do any justice. But we are proposing to install 4 HAWKs in hotspot locations. We know that HAWKs are very, very good at preventing collisions from pedestrians, and I want to point out that we're proposing 4 HAWKs at the locations where we're seeing the most issues currently in terms of pedestrian fatalities in our hotspot areas. And I'll go through each one of these locations with you. The first one is 27th Avenue from Bethany Home Road to Claremont Street. And the map is not very clear, but it's put in there. In the last 6 years at this location, we have seen 4 serious injury collisions. We have seen 7 fatal collisions, and we did have 1 fatal collision last year at this location. The next area is Indian School Road from 23rd Avenue to 19th Avenue. In this location, in the past 6 years, we have seen 7 serious injury collisions, 6 fatal collisions, and unfortunately this year, we have already had 2 fatal collisions at this location. The next location is 7th Avenue from Mojave Street to Buckeye Road. In this particular location, we have seen 5 serious injury collisions with 4 fatal collisions, and this year we have had 1 fatality at this location. And lastly, we have McDowell Road from 40th Street to 43rd Street. At this particular location, we have seen 4 serious injury collisions in the past 6 years. We have seen 4 fatal collisions in the past 6 years. And unfortunately, just last weekend, we lost an 18-year-old girl at this location. The next item is crosswalk upgrades. We are proposing to upgrade 55 crosswalks throughout the city by adding warning signs at the locations of these unsignalized crosswalks, and also high visibility striping, as well as ADA ramps. And I have an example here to show you. This is an unsignalized crosswalk on Southern Avenue and 10th Street. And as you can see, there is no ADA ramp on the north side of Southern Avenue, and the south side ramp doesn't really direct people to the particular crosswalk. And just stepping back east about 100 feet, we can see that that crosswalk is not very visible to drivers. At this location, Southern Avenue is a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit road, so that would only take a driver going the speed limit 2 seconds to reach the crosswalk location. So our proposed improvements with added signage and high visibility striping can increase the visibility of the crosswalks and call the attention of the drivers so they can see if people are trying to cross the street. The next item is ASU research. As I mentioned earlier, ASU is helping us conduct research and provide place-specific solutions for a lot of the pedestrian collisions that we see here in Phoenix. Many times when we read about these collisions on the newspaper and fatalities, and we hear about them on the news, they all sound the same, but the reality of it is that there are different risk factors related to each and every one of them. We go over these collisions with police and our vehicular homicide unit in police, and we can see we have some that are related to a land use, we have some that are related to bus and traffic and public transit. We have some that unfortunately we cannot explain. We have some related to alcohol. So we will, ASU will be helping us conduct this research, looking at behavior of pedestrians, looking at our vulnerable populations that maybe are dependent on public transit or on walking to get to their locations, and also looking at our land uses and roadway features that may lead to some of the issues that we're seeing with pedestrian fatalities. This is an item that many municipalities throughout Arizona have given to maybe engineering companies to be able to do for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we are very lucky here in Phoenix to be able to count with the help of Arizona State University. We have a lot of passionate students and also a lot of passionate faculty that want to make a difference, and they want to be looking at these issues with us. And the last item is community education and engagement. As I mentioned earlier, we go out to a lot of schools and we do a lot of pedestrian safety activities with kids. We have our walk to school days coming up, and we have contests related to walk to school where kids can tell us the importance to them walking to school safe. So we want to be able to have giveaways, prizes for those contests. Kids get really excited when they hear that maybe they can win their name on a City of Phoenix street sign. So it's something that we want to be able to do for our community engagement. And we want to be able to also translate our pedestrian safety activity book to Spanish and be able to print copies. So with that, I'm going to leave up here on the screen the proposed safety improvements. And if you have any questions, we are ready to take them.
Any questions, Councilwoman?
So last week I was watching the Today Show, and lo and behold, there was a segment on red light collisions, and the state of Arizona leads in red light people, speeding through red lights. Are any of our pedestrian fatalities related to that, or is that just another phenomenon that's going on?
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, as we go through our pedestrian task force and looking at these, we do have incidents where people cross in the crosswalk when they have a light and they still get hit. It's either hit and run, or you might have an accident like that. We have other ones when they're not in the crosswalk. So there's all variable of different types of collisions that end up happening. I know that I wrote myself a note just last week about red light cameras, because I know we did take some action talking about that we do have code restrictions on how many red light cameras we can have in the city. That's something we'll continue to work with police on potentially maneuvering that around, or potentially increasing the number so we can have additional locations to be able to address red light running, because we do know that's an incident, especially with the high speed that happens on our streets.
I think that'd be interesting as a follow-up. We could have a presentation on that. I know there was one at 7th Street in Bell, and it's worked very effectively. I recall maybe 20 years ago, 7th Street and Bell Road was the intersection collision capital of the city, so it's really reduced a lot of problems at that intersection. And then also, because we have so much more pedestrian activity downtown, are we looking at some techniques like a pedestrian scramble and some new kind of ways to look at how we move people and cars in the downtown area?
Well, a lot of those things can be achieved with our upgrade of street lights, because it takes a specific timing to be able to have those pedestrian scrambles. And we can definitely look into that to see our areas that have the most volume. There is obviously a trade-off from traffic timing, because we are adding an additional cycle for the scramble, but we can definitely take a look at that.
So for the rest of the subcommittee, just to know, what the chair is asking or talking about is a separate phase for pedestrians to just basically go where they want to in the intersection. So they can go diagonal, they can go whichever they want, but it obviously requires an all red stop for all the rest of the traffic and the other 4 legs of the intersection.
But just as a follow-up, what I think would be good about that, though, is in some of the intersections here in downtown, cars can never move because people are always crossing, and so maybe it would benefit us all. Plus, we would have the opportunity to cross diagonally and maybe save ourselves a couple seconds as well. I don't know. I think it's worthwhile looking at, because we have so many more pedestrians downtown now. And if we have the scooters, I think it's maybe worth looking at in the future.
I can think of one just close by.
I can think of the same one. So we can get to Cityscape.
Councilwoman Pastor?
So I think the pedestrian scramble is an excellent idea. Washington, D.C. does a pedestrian scramble. And in the pedestrian scramble, they also have artwork in the piece. I actually have a picture because I was taking a picture regarding artwork. So I think we need to move with modern times and be innovative and start looking at those innovative ideas. And I'm not saying that we're not, but I know it has to do with modernizing our lights, which leads me to, I really would like to look at timing of our lights too, and how we move traffic around and moving people around, because with the growth that we're now experiencing, our timing of life and moving traffic has now shifted because we have more people on the streets or more people moving around. And so I would really like to analyze that to see where we are today and what we need to do in the today plan or yesterday's plan. Is it still valuable today? And if not, where do we shift and how do we shift? The Hawks, it's been very interesting to watch the Hawks on the curve on 7th Avenue because I thought the Hawks would help with, and I'm sure we can look at it, with some pedestrians using the Hawks. Usually when I'm on 7th Avenue and I'm watching people cross midway in between the two Hawks, I usually roll down my window and my kids get mad at me because I embarrass them. And I'm like, hey, there's a Hawk over there, because they're in the middle of this craziness, also during peak on the curve. And I'm like, oh, great. I don't want to witness this, but I'm standing there holding my breath, or sitting in the car holding my breath saying, oh, please, please. And then sometimes I just stop and start to put my lights on only to get other cars to stop just to get them through for safety. So I would really, I know that the Hawks are good, but I also witnessed in Tucson and in San Diego, the signs of the Hawks are really different, and they're clear on what you're supposed to do at a Hawk. I get confused at certain Hawks because certain Hawks have certain, I know we're supposed to follow a standard, but the one in South Phoenix is very different from the one in the north side and what the directions are. And so I really want to look at that and seeing what we need to do in order for people really to understand how to use the Hawk. And I'm not talking pedestrians, I'm talking motorists. Pedestrians know what to do.
We just produced a video from the motorist perspective on how to use a Hawk. Our main message is always red means stop. So even when it's flashing, we would treat it as we would treat a light that's not working. When it's flashing, we would stop, look, and then go. But we just made a video specifically for drivers to address that issue.
And where do they see it?
It's posted on our Phoenix TV.
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, it actually hasn't gone live yet. It's within days. We were just reviewing it internally, but it's about a 30-second clip, and we'll use social media. We'll use it on Phoenix 11 and anywhere else we can do to push it out to make sure that people, and it does provide a quick message about exactly from the driver's perspective how to know what to do when you approach a Hawk, when it's flashing, when it's not flashing, when it's solid red, when it's yellow, those.
Can you put that on Nextdoor?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I can't remember which committee it was, but whether it was public safety or this committee, where we asked for an evaluation or consideration of increasing the number of red light cameras.
It's a public safety.
Was it public safety? Yeah. Okay. Because I'm hoping that we can address some of the newer intersections that I think need them.
And what is the process to increase it? Because they said it was code.
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, Councilman Pastor, I think, what I understand it requires code change to increase it beyond the 13 locations we can right now. What we've been how we've been operating at this point is if we have a significant red light running area, we have to move red light cameras from one to that one, even though we may still have red light issues at the other one. So that's something if the council is supportive of it, that's something we'll definitely work with police on moving that forward, because I think 13, when we look at 1,100 signalized intersections around the city of Phoenix, that's how many we have, and only having 13, the ability to put 13 red light cameras at those is probably not keeping at the times of our city.
Well, I think it's very important that we rewrite that and add cameras. I mean, when you think what that was first drafted and the number of intersections versus today,
Yeah.
whole new ballgame.
Why, I'm just curious, I'm talking processing. If we say we were willing to increase the code or the numbers, what would be the pushback? Because it's safety, so what would be, I'm just curious as to why there would be some pushback as to, no, we can't do it.
Madam Chair, Councilwoman Pastor, members of the subcommittee, what I would anticipate is what you've seen sometimes with ADOT when they have the radar cameras. I mean, typically you either have a radar camera or that may do red light as well. Typically ours are just looking at red lights. So you have some elements of the public who will be concerned with, oh, this is just a money-making scheme. I think we've always approached it from the standpoint that it helps change behavior. And red light cameras are very effective. I don't know the percentage off the top of my head, but it is very effective in being able to reduce red light incidents.
You installed one at 43rd and Greenway, and thank you very much for doing that because we just had wreck after red, and it was always due to somebody running a red light. So now I just need to put one at Thunderbird on 43rd.
But I also feel if we're number one in the nation, I think we have an opportunity at this moment to say we're very concerned, and safety is our number one priority. So, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you so much for the report. Excellent job.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions related to the planned spending plan for this fiscal year, you may not have them today, but if you want to forward them to us between now and next meeting, we'd be more than happy to take those under advisement.
Very good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Do we have any public? We do not. Future agenda items, I think you had brought up a couple.
I think the red light discussion is warranted, especially after getting the honor of being the red light capital collision of the world, so at least of the United States. I think we should talk about our red light enforcement. I think it's important. And I did have another one.
You had two, and I don't remember, but I told them it's when we have the.
What is it? Update on the gated alleys.
Oh, yes, I want that too.
Yes.
Thank you. An update on the gated alleys.
I have one, and I don't know, one would be the water bill and when we turn off service. I've been watching the APS electricity piece, and I would like to know at what point if service is turned off from water, very specifically in the summer.
Yeah.
So
I can tell you, we're much kinder than some of the other.
I'm sure we are. So.
Okay, anything else? Hearing none, we stand adjourned. Thank you.